thank you all for coming. My name is Michał Gutowski. I'm representing Cloudera, and together with me on stage is Tomasz Mirowski.
Hello.
He is
CTO at Trzysoft.
Yes, Freesoft is or Trzysoft or Freesoft is our partner. Yeah, maybe we shouldn't say Freesoft because it gives the impression that the software is for free, but so I will skip that. I think. Oh, okay. I think we need to start with a small disclaimer because, with what is happening at the moment in big data space, we should put this kind of disclaimers that this content is not generated by any LLM. This is actually a true story, a true journey that we went with with one of the customers. So no LLMs were used during this for preparing this presentation. And this is an actual use case. All right. So let's start with a quick opening. So we had this customer, a retail customer, which we cannot mention by name, unfortunately. But a customer came to us with a simple problem. They observed that a lot of things are wasting in their shops, right? So there are some things in the stores that they have an expiry date, and it will be ideal to sell them all because otherwise you will need to throw it away and generate waste. So the use case is very simple. The customer described the problem. The customer said, okay, we have some data, and this is what they provide us. So initially we said, okay, so we just need to provide for this customer an AI platform for predictive analytics for a particular range of products. And if you look at this use case and go, for example, for IDC or Gartner, they will tell you that this kind of use case can generate at least 2% of revenue increase and 50% of inventory reduction for a retail customer. So in the following slides, we will present what we did, how we started, and what was the journey, and what we finally delivered. So,
Thank you, Gimi, please. Okay, like Michał mentioned, this is the customer success story from the beginning to the end-to-end project. My project admin really working production environment solution from 2010. So talking about the first phase of the project, we have to have in mind that it happened 6 years ago. So some kind of different tools was, let's say, available on the market. We started from the POC, like mostly the AI projects. And the idea, like Michał mentioned, is we have some data from the customer point of view. Please check it if we can do some kind of AI machine learning solution based on our data, and we will see what's going on. So after doing the development phase for the POC, there was no big data on this point of the project, just the regular, local development, one data analytics, one data science guy, the local environment, R as a language, RStudio, flat files, sharing data between the customer and us, some kind of relations database for the aggregation and stuff like this. And there was very quick win solution to check if we, like I mentioned before, we were able to do something valuable with the customer. The first result, the first model was to check the short time sell products from the customer. It was the mid to be concrete. So the idea was to optimize the waste of the goods from the customer point of view using the AI. Our results, the first model during the POC was better than the current results used by the customer. By current results, I mean the Excel file. And that was, let's say, our first quick win of the project. Then the idea was to check totally different point of the business. So check the product with long time of selling from the customer point of view. This results was also better than the Excel, like I mentioned before. And it was decision go, okay, it sounds promising, it looks promising. We can do the really big data project based on these results and the idea. Okay, we have only a few minutes. So I will be focused mostly on where we are and then, let's say, discuss some kind of challenges during those few years of the project. Like I mentioned, we started from this one CSV file, forecasting the one product in one store. The current solution is forecasting the sales value for all product in all stores in half of the Europe for the customer. So, from the one CSV, let's say 10 megabytes of data to the petabytes, daily real-time data ingestion to the platform to be able to provide daily, day by day, before the midnight information about how the sales will be looking tomorrow. The next idea, the next challenge, like I mentioned before, POC, one data analyst, one data science guy. Now, to build the solution during those years, we had to build the entire team, different competencies, different skills, different technologies we were able to use. There was also a big challenge for us because we started in 2019, so big data those days was not production ready like today. There was the different challenges. And again, started with one store in one country. So we were able to use few servers in the local data center of the customer. After some kind of evaluation of the project, we had to move to the cloud because the size of the cluster currently is almost 1,000 machines. So we were not able to move it to the on-prem data center belongs to the customer. And during the projects, something, let's say, checking the data, checking the results, is like the way from GPT-2 to GPT-4. Let's say we had the model, the first one based on the POC. Okay, we get the permission from the customer. Okay, you can get the additional data. You can do whatever you want, make the results better and better. So it was not like the DoD project, let's say, you have 1 year, you have to do this, and thank you. Now it's like this 6-year environment, working, evolving, increasing the value to the customer. And the screen with the weather. No one knows this before we start the project. Let's say now we have the old data, the sales data from different stores, from different countries in one place. So the one team was able to analyze how the sales looks like based on the situation. By situation, I mean the weather. So let's say we have the situation when we have 24 degrees, the weather sales is on the regular level. But if there will be 26, 27 degrees temperature tomorrow, the sales will be twice bigger. Based on the platform, adding the additional value, like the weather, to the platform, to the day-to-day processing, we were able to increase the sales process, the sales value to the customer.
So this is a completely new requirement that we figure out during the project, yeah?
Exactly. No one knows this before. Yes. Challenges. POC was, like I mentioned, quick, nice, with full success. Now we had to be able to move to increase the scale of the project to the stores, to the countries. So we had to figure out with the customer how to do it, to make the time to market very fast, not just implement the project for the few years. So let's say make it in 1 year and then use it and make it better and better. So let's say different countries were different, was similar island from the data perspective. There was no common standards for the promo data, the sales data, the weather data, and different data needed for the project. So we had to build with the customer some kind of standard, how we change data between those systems, the country system, the customer system, and the central customer platform. Yeah, that was the first main challenge. Second one, and I think this is the main interesting from the IT point of view, the R to the enhanced Spark. Like I mentioned before, we started the POC using the data analysis and data science team. By data science team, I mean R as a language, RStudio as a platform to implement the solution. 2019, we had to figure out how to make the Spark work the forecasting process, forecasting solution work faster, better, and be able to scalable during the adding new items, new stores, new countries to the solution. And we have to have something similar, let's say equal, based on the functionality level between R and the models and packages from R with Spark. So we had to figure out, we had to build solution to add the H2O to the Spark based on the Cloudera ecosystem. Again, still better, faster, and time to market has to be low as should be. It could be. Automation. So moving based on the capacity, we had to move to this from the on-prem to the cloud. When we are on the cloud, we are able to automate the solution using some kind of native solutions and the Cloudera functionality. So based on the standards of data, moving from R to the Spark, adding the additional feature as public cloud, we were able to build the automation to increase the size of the platform, the modeling, the code, horizontal, adding just the regular new countries and the needs from the customer point of view. But increasing the platform from one side, there is the business value for the customer, some kind of savings, better sales, whatever. We still had to have in mind that the cost of the platform have to be lower than the value from the platform. So this is also a solution we build using the Cloudera. How the high-level solution looks like? We have the real-time daily data ingestion for the modeling from this is the sales data. Once per day, we are loading the new dictionaries. And then every day, we are preparing the data processing using the standard processing for the data preparation for the forecasting. And daily, we are forecasting the sales value for the next day for the customer. And the downtime of the platform has to be exactly 0 because we have to, before the midnight, provide the new data for the customer day by day.
Yeah, so as you can see at this high-level architecture, this is some kind of a feedback loop, right? Because whatever we produce in the sales forecast process, this needs to go back as kind of instruction set to the actual retail warehouses, and this will result in packaging the right products on the right trucks and deliver that to the stores. So this is happening on the customer side. Everything else is happening on Freesoft and Cloudera side. Freesoft is doing all the automation for that and managing the entire platform. And why we are using CDP? So the value of CDP is that we have all the necessary tools integrated and ready in the platform to use. So first of all, we need to collect data every day, every second. We have tools for that, right? We have NiFi and Kafka in the platform ready for that. We need to store it in a data lake. We need to run AI models on that. We need to be able to scale that environment. Everything is ready out of the box, already integrated because it comes as a platform and supported by one vendor, right? So we are providing support to Freesoft when they have problems. You can see some metrics. I think they're pretty impressive. So we are processing 20 billion receipts, 10 million receipts per day, over 6,000 stores and 5,000 products. Question to the audience: how many AI models do you think we are running here?
Not one.
more than 0. The result is you need to multiply the number of stores by the number of products. This is how many models, AI models, we are running, right? So this is why we are calling this presentation AI at a big scale, right? We are not running one model on server number 16 somewhere in data center, right? We are running a huge AI analytical platform every day. And what is more interesting is that while the collection of the data happens constantly, right, while the stores are open, the analytical part and the forecasting part is only happening during night.
Evening, yes.
Yeah, evening actually, right? So this cluster, most of this cluster is scaled to 0 because we don't need it during the day. Once the data is in, the cluster is ramping up, doing the calculation, and then again shuts down for the day. Yeah, and maybe let's look at some interesting technical problem that we solved.
Yeah, the spreader. This is our, let's say, internal name of our product solution, if I may call it like this. Like I mentioned before, we had to jump from the R to the Spark. Be able to jump to the Spark, we have to have in Spark the same functionality as we have in R. So we have to have somehow merge H2O with Spark. Using the Cloudera, using the Yarn, using the different resource manager, then Spark itself. So we build this solution to combine daily how many data we have today, how many forecasts we have today, and build, let's say, predict the size of the right Spark cluster. And this is, let's say, our additional tool added to the Cloudera. This tool is managing the Spark and H2O through Yarn daily for preparing the different right size of the cluster to be able to provide the data in precise time, because we have only 30 minutes daily for the forecasting part of the processing. We have only a few minutes, so I will jump in. You or me?
Yeah. So basically, just to sum up what we delivered in the end. So first of all, we delivered a business value, the real business value. Forecasting needs to be effective to make sense. We also provide supply chain optimization. We obviously minimized the number of overstocks and out of stocks items in stores. The whole change resulted in a positive environmental impact, right? Less food is wasting in stores. We enhance staff productivity because previously people just needed to go through the store and check for the items that were expired and maybe move them around. And of course, we boosted sales, right? And not sure if you still remember the numbers from the first slide, but if we look at our statistics, we could see from 5 to 7% increase in sales by just minimizing the out-of-stock items. We could see a decrease up to 7% in losses, and a reduction of up to 50% reduction of average out-of-stock items. So this is the business value, and what we learned during the whole journey.
Yeah, a few things. But I think what I want to say, for me personally, this is the win-win project from the IT and business perspective. Because sometimes we have as an IT guy projects okay, we have to do it. This is nothing interesting in, but okay, this is the job. So we are implementing something based on the business decisions. From the other side, we have some kind of, let's say, interesting projects, trying to do something, but there is no business value. So from day to day, the project is cut off, and okay, no more future for the let's say, project or team. So this solution is, from my point of view, like I mentioned before, personally win-win solution. All guys started this project are still working in. The business value from the monetization perspective is very high. So both parts of the projects, like the development team and the customer, there is the positive impact for them. We think what we also learned, that the scale is not so scary as should be, as it looks like. We were able to manage in only a few guys 1,000 nodes cluster from the Cloudera point of view. The flexibility is a key for building the customer as an AI solution. So, because normally when you have the vendor log on some kind of product, there was no chance to do this Spark as we do. So like I mentioned before, flexibility and openness is the key for success in the custom AI solution in each scale. Thank you.
Yeah. So actually, yeah, we started building a technological framework, but we actually, in the end, delivered real monetization. So just to summarize, as we have on the slide, it wasn't easy, but it was definitely worth it. So thank you very much indeed, and we are happy to take any questions now or later at
In the
our
box.
booth.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, oh, wait.
Yes.
Let me dash to you. So, yeah.
I have a question. It's a little bit technical, but maybe you know the answer. I noticed that there was HDFS logo, and my question is, why do you still use HDFS instead of Ozone, which is successor to HDFS? Thank you.
Honestly, there is HDFS, but the main storage is the cloud native. So we combine the Cloudera with the cloud native services. So we have some kind of hybrid. We are not using the big data storage. We are using the cloud storage and have the emulation from the perspective to the Cloudera.
Okay, yet another one question.
Thanks, great presentation.
Thank you.
I wanted to ask if client considered extending the data for like the information about where the product is placed in the shop. For example, to compare the sales between the actual shops, his own shops, so that more information can be like withdrawn from this information. And the second question was about like when there's a new product, there's no data for this product. So how you manage more flexible supply chain information?
So first question, yes, it was the, let's say, first part of the ecosystem. The second one is the replenishment solution. So there is the information you are asking for. So this, let's say, two phases of the project, forecasting, and then based on the additional data about the position of the product in the store, there is some calculation, and based on this, we are sending the goods to the store. And the second question about the new products, we have the algorithm to build the family of the product, and based on the history of the different product, we are forecasting the value for the new product.